And this is the arrangement that I had put together before, and I did again this morning, and we'll gradually build ours. But again, what I did was choose colors that are, well, forget the color for a moment, to have an interesting arrangement. You want to have an idea of movement, an idea of variety, texture, and color. So movement, variety, texture, and color. And that's what I tried to do here. I didn't do our traditional pumpkins because I'm sort of pumpkined out, and I thought perhaps some of you are as well. So I chose, and again, the flowers I chose are flowers that will last a long time if they're watered. So carnations, I think carnations have gotten a bad rap over the years because they're relatively inexpensive, but they're wonderful because they last a long time. And indeed in China, and they really do some sophisticated flower arranging in China, carnations have long been a cherished flower. And it's a shame that they are not better appreciated here. Anyway, so thinking back to that color wheel, these are these burgundies, and then I skipped a little bit and did the lavender. And then to add some pizzazz and brightness, I chose gold and yellow just to make it more varied and interesting. In flower arranging, green becomes the neutral base. And then you do your colors from there. As I'm looking over, I realize that maybe I made this a touch too high, at least for shorties like me, for a centerpiece arrangement. Generally, you need to have your centerpiece no higher than, say, 12 inches from tabletop to the top of the arrangement. But I'm so short. This one I measured as 13 inches, but that's just something to think about. Okay, let's get started. In your box, you have a base. It may have been wrapped in bubble wrap, or it may look like this. I took mine out, and it's basically, it is a Dollar Tree candlestick and a Dollar Tree plate for candles, which I glued together with a silicone glue. I liked using pedestals because you can do some really pretty things with movement and flow. The traditional arrangements that you sometimes see for weddings and bar and bat mitzvahs are beautifully composed, symmetrical designs. And I've certainly done a number of those, and they can be very lovely. But if you want something with movement and just a bit more exciting, then it's often nice to use something a little bit taller with a pedestal, because it then gives you room for things to hang over and so on. Okay, so if you haven't already, put your floral foam on your pedestal, and hopefully you've soaked it. Place it so that the holes are at the top, because then once you have your arrangement and you go to water it, the water will sink in more quickly and it won't spill out the sides. Is everybody ready for that? Okay. What we're going to do now is take out a Ziploc bag. Mine isn't Ziploc, but put in front of you, spill out the things in the Ziploc bag. And what we're going to do is figure out a base, a structure for the design. You can design, it's good to have some structure with your design. You can do it when you do an arrangement with leaves. You can do it with certain key flowers. You'll see that in your bag, I bought these artificial artichokes because I thought it would be fun to have some things that you can keep and either do arrangements all year round using some of the faux articles and fresh flowers, or if you save it for the fall, for Rosh Hashanah through Thanksgiving, it's always nice to have something that is a good faux article to anchor your arrangement. So take your artichoke and find an approximate center at the top. Whoops.
Ellen,
Yeah.
we have a question. What direction should the toothpick be pointing?
The toothpick should be pointing down because you're going to stick it in the floral foam. Okay. So find.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean this toothpick.
Which, oh, wait, let me put the gallery view on.
She means the toothpick and the foam. I had the same question.
Oh, sorry. Yes. And I don't have, I really, again, need to, I can't get the gallery view. Anyway, yes, the toothpick and the foam, just leave it there for the moment and I'll explain it later.
Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so
should it be pointing to the side or up, or should the holes be on top?
Yes, the holes should be on top because that'll facilitate better watering to keep design fresh. So find a center and then a little bit to your right, a little bit to the right of the center, stick in your artichoke. So we're beginning to formulate the structure. So everybody has an artichoke. And then along the same horizontal line, stick in, these are faux Rosabottle is the Dutch, okay, I don't remember the English name, but stick that in the same sort of horizontal line. Stick that in towards the edge. Okay, so if you see, here they are in the arrangement, and here this is along there. Okay. Next, take out this bag in which we have these fun faux wheat-like. I don't know that this exists in nature, but it just added some wonderful flow and movement to the design and color.
Ellen?
Yes.
Just a question. I thought I had read that foam was no longer going to be available. Does that ring true to you? And if so, how would you do this kind of an arrangement?
Oh, I haven't heard that. That's strange. I know it's.
I don't remember where I read it, but I did see that was.
Well, there are other ways. There's certainly many other ways to do arrangements. I can't imagine that. Do you remember why they said it wouldn't be used?
No, I'm sorry. I don't remember the details.
Not because something's toxic, but anyway. So here we are. We're going to put in these wheat-like things. And you can decide whether you want them sort of flowing down or flowing up, depending upon how they come out. You can bend them a little bit. There's one in the middle. There's a stem that's a bit bendable, so you can do that. And then stick that on the side. Okay. So this is what we're doing, and we're sticking it on the side here. And let's see, I'll keep this in the background and this in the foreground. And then on the other side, stick this in on this side. And we've begun to have the structure for our arrangement. Okay, I also have a gold eucalyptus that you can put sort of in between the these yellow buds and the artichoke, a little bit behind it. Okay. Also, some leaves may have fallen out. You can put them under at any time just to obscure the vase a little bit, the top of the pedestal rather. How are we doing, ladies? Anybody have any questions? Okay, now we get to the flowers. And we're going to first pick out, this is called Safari Sunset. And I love it because it has a unique form and it just blends beautifully, I think, in an autumn arrangement. What you're going to do is take your floral shears, or if you don't have floral shears, your sharp knife and a cutting board, and cut this about here. Okay, take off the bottom couple leaves and stick that in, oh, about like this. These will open and it's really pretty. Okay, I'm going to continue with the structure using the burgundy flowers, the burgundy carnations. I'm going to snip them. It's either good to snip them right above one of those nodes, or yeah, I think this will be okay for this one. It'll be short, but I'm putting it right here. So we're getting structure of our colors now. So take another, and here I'm going to have this, again, I'm cutting it right up on a slant. I forgot to mention that. And I'm going to put this, cut it a little bit too long. I've never worked upside down before. Interesting way to work. Okay. And then I'm going to begin to turn this a bit, because since it's I mean, you can do arrangements so that they're just basically to be viewed head on, or if you wanted to use this on a dining room table for a meal, you would begin to turn it a bit so that each view, even though it's an asymmetrical arrangement, view has something attractive to look at. So let's see. Actually, I want to move this a little bit. If you take a flower out of Oasis and you put it back in, put it in a different spot because you want it to be able to hug the floral, be hugged by the floral foam. Okay, I'm going to again cut this in the middle on a slant, and I'm going to turn my arrangement so that I'm beginning to do the sides. Here's a side, and now I'm getting to the back. Here I go. I'm putting this in the back about like that. And
Ellen, we have a question.
sure.
Four guys asked, where can we buy the materials when we would like fresh and faux,
Okay.
not in a kit?
All kinds of sources. If you're doing one arrangement, I love Trader Joe's, okay, because they have a wonderful assortment of flowers. You have to go sort of on a Thursday or Friday or ask the people at Trader Joe's when they get in their most of their product. But I've always been able to find pretty things there. Safeway, I have found, has beautiful roses. I hope they still do. I haven't been in a Safeway since COVID. And I'm going to put another here. So fresh flowers, Trader Joe's, if you're doing one arrangement, sometimes Safeway, certainly Whole Foods, but they're expensive, and during holidays, they really jack up their prices. If you can go to a wholesaler, there's Potomac Floral Wholesale in Silver Spring. And actually they have, you can get wholesale or they have a retail set up as well. And you can go in and pick them. Since the beginning of COVID, we have not left our house very much. We're still ordering groceries, so I've not stepped into a Trader Joe's or a Safeway or a Whole Foods. So I went to Potomac Flower Wholesale's website, and I order bulk flowers there anyway, and then they have curbside delivery. But those of you who are venturing out, I would say Trader Joe's, Safeway, Whole Foods, occasionally the Giant for fresh flowers. For faux, I went on Michael's website and got these on Michael's. I went on Amazon and got, I think these are gooseberry. I forget what they're called. But anyway, I was Googling yellow, bulk yellow faux flowers, and this came up. The artichokes also I got on Amazon, but you could use a fresh artichoke. I just wanted to give you all something that would be lasting and that you could use year after year as the beginning of an arrangement. Does that answer that question? Hopefully. Okay, so we've done our burgundy flowers all around so that we're beginning to have a nice view wherever we look. And then we can begin to take the lavender.
Let's close it.
Again, cut it. It's a strange way of working. Cut it above a node and let's see. I'm placing it between the safari and
I'm just gonna leave it like this.
I just really love the way the burgundy and the lavender go together, and then there's a wonderful contrast with the yellow.
Ellen, about how long, how many inches are the, when you cut the flower, about how many
Okay,
inches do you end up with?
Okay, I'm gonna do what I told you not to do, and I'll take it out. But do you see, it's probably from the just below this part of the flower. Oh, maybe 3 inches, 2.5 inches. It depends upon where you're placing it and the height you want it. But always, if you can remember, try to cut it at a slant if it takes up the water better. Some of these carnations have these wonderful little buds, and that adds to the texture as well. So I'm going to then put one on this side. And I'm going to keep turning. It may not look exactly like my original, but that's fine because you use your own sense of what you like. And again, I keep cutting. And if I find a flower that has these little buds, all the better because it adds that sense of texture. Okay, so I'm beginning to do the sides. And I think we were shooting when we were counting the flowers for at least 5 of the burgundy carnations and the lilac. Okay, so here you begin to see how it's beginning to look. Okay, I forgot to mention that a very important aspect of this particular workshop is that not only hopefully will it be fun and informative, but in contrast to the wonderful prescription chicken workshop where we all learn to make bread, challah, you will not gain weight from this workshop. My husband has become a baking fiend, and oh my gosh, we've both gained quite a bit of weight. I'm using the rest of the stem from the safari to just stick in and add a little bit more texture. Okay. And then we have for color and to bring in more of the yellow, some Alstroemeria. And I'm going to cut it about like this. And I'm going to use it in the back. Let's see, about here, so that you have a sense of movement from the yellow faux buds to the gold to the yellow. Okay. Now we're almost finished the floral part. I want to mention to you that I love using fruit in my arrangements too. And I don't know what happened to the grapes I had. I was hoping to find really pretty faux grapes for everybody, but I couldn't. Oh, here are my faux grapes, which are not terrific. And the ones I found online also were not terrific. But in that baggie that you have is a green toothpick with some wire. And if you, next time you order, if you want to add some grapes that hang down, you can wire them in like that. But instead, I am going to use a little bit of the Alstroemeria.
Ellen, can you talk a little bit about leaves and how when to use them and when not to use them?
When leaves, yeah, we're gonna fill in leaves very soon.
Oh, from the flowers.
Oh, from the flowers, yes. It depends on the leaf and whether you like it or not and whether it's fresh. For example, these on the Alstroemeria are semi-fresh. One of the things that we noticed, my husband and I, when we moved back to the States from living in Holland, was, I'm going to put this actually on this side to balance it out, was the difference in freshness of flowers. I mean, in Holland, just beautiful fresh flowers are everywhere. And here, you're lucky if you get flowers that last a couple days. It's really a shame. So if the plant has a leaf that is interesting, leave it, because this, for example, this is a pretty leaf. Roses have pretty leaves. You just want to make sure that if you're doing an arrangement in the floral foam, and especially if you're doing an arrangement in a glass container, that you don't have leaves in the water, because that will affect the freshness. All right, I'm going to, okay, what I did was I didn't really love the how the Alstroemeria were placed. Okay, so this is basically, if I turn this around, you begin to have a pretty view wherever you're sitting at a table, okay? This is where that toothpick will come in. So pull it out wherever you find it in your floral foam and pull out this little baggie with this green, mine is not in great shape, yours will be. And this is to wrap the base and to hide the floral foam. Now, one of you Potomac ladies who picked your supplies up from Randy got shortchanged. I was cutting some of this early yesterday morning without my coffee, and I cut it too short. So if you,
Good news is it was me.
pardon me?
The good news is it was me.
Oh, okay. So I will drop off the proper
No
length.
need. No
Um,
need. We'll put flowers.
Okay, so wrap it around and then secure it with the toothpick. Is everybody able to do that? Okay, and something very important I forgot was a huge thank you, shout out to Sharon Brown and Elaine Melnick. Sharon cut all of these or most of the strips of this fake moss. And then she and Elaine came over on Saturday and on my patio worked for a few hours getting our kits together. And we had fun, but it was an enormous amount of work and I am really, really grateful. Maybe left on your tabletop are these little sprigs of fake twig. They came with these berries, these yellow berries, and you can use them just to stick in and give a little bit more texture. I think there are 3 of them. There should be 3 of them. Yeah. And you can use 2 on one side and 1 on the other, or you can put them all in the same area, whatever looks good to you. Okay. How are we doing, ladies? Any more questions?
Yes. What is the wrap called and how does it come?
Okay, it's called sheet moss and it's a mess. I will never use it again. It, there probably are different kinds. I got this from Amazon. You know, I'm used to when I do a workshop like this, I'm very hands-on and I'm a shopper. I'm a crazy shopper. And I go to Michael's. Has AC Moore closed? I don't know. And I go to Amazon and I go to the wholesaler. I go to American Plant and look in their gift shop. I get all my things from different sources. And for this, because I don't venture out, I mean, I do go out, thank God. I walk a lot and we take drives and we have eaten outdoors. But I don't go into stores for very long if I can help it. So I just had to stick with whatever I could find on the internet, on Amazon. And it's not great. It sheds, as you can see, as you're working, it sheds terribly and it sort of falls apart. So I think were I to do this again, I would try whatever Michael's has. They usually have good products from a company called Ashland. The other thing that I've often done to cover bases is to use a lot of boxwood. And we're going to use some now to fill in and add again some more texture. And use it as a foil for the flowers. So I've covered bases just with boxwood. Let me get the box. You'll have the boxwood in these bags. Luckily, we have a lot of boxwood in our garden. So you might have friends who have boxwood. Or starting in, when did he say, after Thanksgiving, American Plant gets in bags of this, I guess for Christmas wreaths, but I was limited to my garden. And I just cover the base and with push pins, T-pins, or wire, I just secure it to the base. But I thought this would be faster, which it is, but it's a terrible mess. Anyway, we're going to begin to use our boxwood to fill in. And this is really, ladies, up to to you where you want it. I'm just, wherever I see a bit of darkness, like in between here, there was just so much burgundy that I wanted to add a little sprig here. Everybody, of course, has different pieces because that's nature. So if you have a big clump, you can separate it into smaller pieces as long as you have enough of a stem to stick into the floral foam. Okay. And keep moving your arrangement around. So again, you see what the different sides look like and whether you need to add some green. So I decided to add some again around the back to separate this burgundy clump. And I think I am just about finished. How is everybody doing?
Good.
Okay. And oh, that was my mouse. Oh. I have a feeling I'm not going to be terribly happy when I see this on Facebook, but I need to perfect my act, I think. Okay, so I want something that
No, doing an amazing job.
hanging down here. I just, let's see, on this one, I used the alstroemeria for that purpose. Somehow working back and front, I missed that and put it somewhere else. I put it on the other side. So I am just going to take, oh, you have also in that baggie that had the faux materials, you should have some gold leaves. Single gold eucalyptus. I don't know what happened to mine, but I think what I will do is just stick this under here to add a little bit like that. And I think maybe another one of these. So if I'm going to pull down this awful green stuff so that I can get to my floral foam, and I'm going to stick this in the floral foam. And I've just broke the stem, which sometimes happens. That's why you all have plenty of floral material. Okay, that's better. So I have a little bit hanging down this way, and then I'll put my gold leaf in between. And I think I'm just about done.
Ellen, can you
Yes.
talk about when to water this, how to water this?
Yes. I think if you soaked the Oasis overnight, you're good for a couple days. Don't put flowers in direct sunlight if you can help it. Put it in a shady spot in your home, and then if you need to put it out later on a table that gets a lot of sun, you can do that for whatever event you're having. But just to store it and keep it fresh, try to keep it in a shady spot and a cool spot. Then I have a wonderful watering can with a long spout, and I think I left it in the garage or outside where I was watering. But there are a couple other things. Can you still hear me? You can use, if you can get a clean turkey baster and fill it with water and stick it in between your arrangement, or one of those bulb syringes that you used to use with children, but you can get it at CVS or whatever and fill it with water. That's really handy because with that narrowing part of the syringe, you can get into these spaces and make sure that you're watering the fresh flowers. And again, I have a watering can that I got years ago from IKEA, and it has a long spout and you can water it that way. Okay, so there's pretty much something nice to look at wherever I turn this.